Hey everybody, welcome back to another Destiny 2 Fashion Friday. Today we're returning to some of my most popular videos theme. It's the sets for sweats video. This is the third installment and the last two did really well, so I appreciate all the support on those. And hopefully I got some more inspiration for you all black loving Destiny 2 players. For the first sets, we're going to go with the Hunter, but I do have Warlock and Titan coming up. If you want to skip to those, I'll have timestamps, and let's get right into it. Obviously, sweats are probably most likely running some movement exotics. I did run one set without the movement exotic, just whatever probably the most used sweat exotic is for the second one. So, of course, I've got these Stompees here, and the Astro Striders, in my opinion, are the best ornament for the Stompees. They shader a little better, although they do have that little unshaderable yellow sticker there on the knee. But the silhouette in general, I think, is a lot cooler than the other two ornaments. And I really do not like the base Stompees look at all. So I try to play into this kind of robotic assassin kind of look, and I think you can see that with the upper torso pretty well. I just want to shout out this Braytech Winter Cloak mostly before we move on. I think it could shroud the lower half of a lot of the helmets in the game, and I think it looks really cool for kind of a mysterious, anime protagonist or antagonist kind of look. And I'm surprised I don't see it more, to be honest. I think it's really nice. If you ever take off that white cloak that's only a hood, this is a good alternative for the sweats, I think. So moving on to the next one, I want to try to keep this one pretty quick since there's a few sets. And I think most people are going to be more interested in just taking a quick glance. I will encourage you, though, to check out the shaders. Just kind of see what I'm using to get these really dark silhouettes. So of course we got the Renegade hood here, but I did mix it up a little bit by using the Courtier mask, which takes away the hood, but it's pretty much all a hood. So all you're left with is this kind of tattered scarf around the neck. I think that's a really nice, clean, simple look for the cloak as far as that goes. I honestly don't play my Hunter as much, so having like no cloak feels a little more comfortable, a little more natural to me personally. So I've been really enjoying this Renegade hood or, some of the other hoodless options. This is the base Stompees ornament, so check out all these pieces if you don't have any ornaments. I think you've got to go super slim if you're going to go with that base look for the Stompees. And then for this last Hunter set, I threw on the Graviton Forfeit. I don't think this is going to be much of a sweat loadout, but it is something I've been seeing more and more in trials, and I expect to see more even so next season in the Witch Queen, so I thought it deserved a shout out. I personally like to really accent the fangs of the Graviton Forfeit that kind of come down into that purpley glow area. This is a little bit understated, kind of has that widow's peak of the opulent Stalker cloak. And I like it personally. I've done that Solstice cloak from the recent one. I think it has the Viper head coming over the top. I really like that one. It makes the top look like the fangs are extended over the helmet more so. And I think that looks really nice. But for the sweats, I decided to keep it really simple, keep the silhouette slim. And I did really like these Celestial grips, those little horns on the right shoulder. Do a good job of matching that kind of little theme. And I looked through pretty much every shader in the game to see what the darkest you could get these Lux legs. And I'm pretty sure it's Atmospheric Glow. That is such a dark black on that leg. I would be really surprised if someone else found one that was darker than that. It is really dark, and I was impressed myself when I saw that. Alright, popping over to the Warlock. This, I would say the Warlock is a little tougher to get like all black. I think a lot of the really dark black shaders do so in the hard shader zones, and this Warlock has a lot of soft shader zones. The Hunter, you can kind of work around it and kind of focus on the hard like armor, more focused armor pieces. And with the Warlock, you don't really have too much of a choice. I feel like, especially with the chest piece, there's at least half like cloth shader zones. So you kind of have to do mixing and matching, in my opinion, if you really want it to get it dark. But I will say I was pretty surprised with this Continuum Alloy. It's one of those paid Vault of Glass shaders that came out. I've seen people use the other one a lot more than this, but this actually gave us a really nice dark gray-ish navy, and I was pretty happy with it. Pretty surprised, pretty happy. And I use this Valkyrian hood so much. I think you could probably mix up the hood here. That one's a bit of an older one, so not everyone might have that. But obviously using the Transversive steps, the Mindstriders, in my opinion, is just above and beyond the best looking Transversive steps ornament. It's honestly worth the silver, in my opinion. It's an exotic I use a good bit, and it has a lot of utility in PvE even. And this makes it look so cool, in my opinion. That glow changes colors with shaders and can really make a set pop, in my opinion. For the Ophidians sets on the old Warlock, I am using the Caduceus ornament. I think you could use the base and get a very similar look for sure. It kind of doesn't change too much here, but just the way the snakes' heads are kind of positioned. And I think it does a great job of mixing up the ornament. I don't know if it would be worth the silver, but I would say it's worth the bright dust if you see it come around. And these robes are something that I've not used much, but I really love the Pathfinder's robes. Just basic stuff from this season's armor set. Looks really great. All right, we're into the Titan sets now. Titan armor is tough to get all black. I think you can get it a dark gray pretty easily. You can do like oiled gunmetal if you're okay with like little pops of red. There's like carbon blood and you know, stuff like that. But to get it just pure black, it is tough, if not impossible. It's probably more down to like picking very specific armor pieces than it is picking the right shader, in all honesty. You can get this really dark green with atmospheric glow. You can get a really dark brown with that Mercury Vex Chrome, I think. I think that's the right one. It's the one that gives the hard surfaces a rusted texture, one of the older ones. This set, using the Husk Crushers on the Dunemarchers, really tough exotic ornament to work with, in my opinion. I think this Hive set, the Descending Echo set that just came out, is actually like the answers to everyone that owns this ornament's prayers. It finally gives that kind of crude Hive bony look that these really need to feel balanced. I decided to kind of give a like half Hive, half robotic or heavily armored kind of look here. And I really like how it came out. This Boltsmith's helm and the Caber's Wrath chest piece, I think pair up really nicely actually, and kind of looks cool as a contrasting element to that really Hivey, spiky, you know, rock texture that those other two pieces have. You could easily just go that full Descending Echo set too. I just was trying to mix it up, make something a little more interesting for you guys. And here's another Titan set. This is a default ornament. Dunemarchers. I will say the hip waders, if you're gonna buy one ornament, I would just get the hip waders. It's literally just like a direct improvement. Gives you a little glow too around the knee. The knees do not shader at all. That silver bit is always silver, so it's a bit tough. I do like refurbished black armory on these. You can do oiled gunmetal, and it's very similar as well. And then for the rest of the set, I kind of tried to get an interesting silhouette. You could obviously do a full shader of the refurbished black armory, or you know, Valkyrie Zero or Skellige, and it'd probably look maybe a little better. But I kind of liked the top here, and couldn't quite get the legs to shader right to match it. So in my opinion, I would just get the hip waders and, you know, shader it similarly to like Valkyrie Zero, or just accept a few streaks of red or white and use one of these other shaders you see in the set to make it match a little better. But for the sake of going as dark as possible, I went with this refurbished black armory. I really like this Golden Empire on the Ringwalker gauntlets. Something I've noticed, which is really strange, I think the little triangular pyramid things on the left shoulder of the Titan are actually like glow zone shaders, which probably a lot of you don't care about, but that really dark black is a glow zone shader zone. So it is really interesting to see that. I think I've noticed some weird shadering going on with those, but I didn't really put it together until I used this Golden Empire shader. I think it looks really cool with this like white spikes on one side and black spikes on the other. And then I've been really digging this Crushing Helm as well, and I highly recommend that Crucible Prestige on it. Gives that back side of it a nice red, and flows really well in this silhouette, I think. And for the last one, I threw in the One-Eyed Mask. It's definitely not used as much. I don't really know what else I would put in here for Titan though. If you have a suggestion, let me know what you're running in trials, and maybe I can throw that into the next video. But I think of One-Eyed Mask as just one of those neutral game exotics that's gonna give you a benefit like all the time, no matter what. And I think I kind of think of that as like synonymous with sweaty players. Nothing too like outlandish in terms of like a power spike, just something really consistent that makes your pew pew gun do a little better in some circumstances. I did really like this combination of those Righteous Gauntlets and the Jinsum Knight plates, which is both obtainable from Dares of Eternity. I think different weeks, but actually no, Jinsum Knight is Dares of Eternity. Righteous was sold by Zur a couple times, so I'm assuming he'll sell it again. That's right. But yeah, I think the line work on those flow really well, and I couldn't quite figure out a pair of legs that really matched that kind of vibe, but I think the Meridian Constellations do a decent job of carrying over the kind of theming of this Jian ornament on the One-Eyed Mask. So I decided to use that as kind of like a balance to the set, whereas the middle is very rounded metal and the outer ends are kind of like a Asian influence, I would say. I'm not too sure. It's obviously probably a mixture of different elements and different looks that, you know, that's just something the Bungie art team does so well at, kind of making it feel familiar by combining these real world elements, but it feels fresh because there's just so many inspirations smashed together. I would also say that I'm not super pleased with this mark. I think it could be better, but the ones I was looking through just didn't give me a good transition piece from that rounded metal into these kind of like Asian influence, like, you know, almost like South American ancient civilization to influence legs. Not sure if there's one that was perfect for that, but I was happy to give it this kind of like mercenary warrior vibe on the mark with the Intrepid Exploit mark. I think it does a good job. There's a few others that I think you could sub in here as well, including the 30th anniversary mark. But I think the Aposematism shader is just the best shader for that One-Eyed Mask ornament here. It gets it super dark throughout the whole helmet and gives that bright red like blood splatter on the front. I just think it looks so cool. I literally always keep that equipped on this helmet, and if I ever use it, I build the set around that color palette. Honestly, it's just too perfect. That weird like splatter It just feels like it has to be like a red, in my opinion. So I just haven't seen any other shader kind of give it a look that I'm like, oh yeah, that looks good too. It's just, is this one or a similar one at least. All right, that's all the sets I have for these sweats. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I tried to keep it a little quicker. I tried to keep it less colorful than usual. And that's all to appeal to these sweats. We're getting close to the Witch Queen, and I haven't done one of these in maybe a season or two, really. It's been a while. So I thought I'd come back to it. Let me know if you appreciate it or if you miss the colors. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.